Thanks for joining us this week. We've got another great lineup coming here, and just to let you know, there's something new in store around the corner. So we gave a little teaser last week, One Way TV, so tune in and keep an eye out for the new things that are happening. And as always, if you've got anything, let us know, and we can feature you in our show. All right, have fun. See ya.
Hi, I'm Nicole, and I'm going to give you a recipe of something that's gluten-free, vegan-free, dairy-free, and it's a real treat. So today, this is the finished product. They are, well, I suppose you'd call them protein balls, and you buy them in supermarkets everywhere, but you can make them at home. So the first ingredients that you need a nut base. So normally I'd have almonds, but this time I'm not going to use almonds because they tend to be hard and you need to keep them soaking in warm water for a while. But I'm making them with the protein balls today with cashews, because we all love a cashew. The main ingredient is dates. today, for something extra special, I'm going to use this muesli that you can buy online from Pink Muesli. And the Pink Muesli the basis is beetroot, surprisingly. And this one's got cocoa, puffs, rice puffs, dried strawberries, seeds. In fact, if you go online, you can find all the ingredients. So this just gives me a different texture and taste instead of using basically cocoa. And I just thought this will give it a bit of a crispiness to the protein ball as well. So the main instrument that you actually need is a food processor. So I've got one right here that's been around for over 30 years. So it still works. It's a bit noisy. So the easiest thing with this recipe is that you don't need any cooking. There's nothing to it other than blending all the ingredients together. So let's put in the dates. And these are pitted dates, but beware, there can always be a straggler pip around. We've got our nuts. And I'm also going to put some of these in as well. Why not just put it all in? And the thing that's going to bind it all together is coconut oil. Now, I'm not really following a recipe, so I'm just going to estimate it, what it's going to be like. So generally, it's 2 tablespoons to start with. But because I'm putting a bit more ingredients in this time, I'm actually going to put 3 in. It's a bit hard when it's cold. And again, you don't need to melt this down or anything like that because you don't. It mixes up really, really well. So I'm just going to turn that on, and this is going to take a little while. So now what you want is that it's all combined, so it's all come together really, really well. And that's waiting for it to really become quite sticky as well. As you can see, just like that. Now what I've already set aside is coconut. Now you can use shredded coconut, or you can use the other coconut. You can actually toast it. So the toasting, I mean putting in a little fry pan, heating up so it's brown, and that gives it a bit more of a nutty taste as well. So what I'm going to use is some gloves, and these are powderless gloves, which also are for food handling as well. And it's up to you, again, how long you wish to process you might want it a bit more nuttier, crunchier. It's totally up to you. Just get these gloves on now. Now the temptation is probably to make really big round balls, but if you want to keep more, make them smaller. So I'm just going to do a teaspoon size. And these will have to set in the fridge, and I think it's best to leave them in the fridge. And don't stack them on top of each other because they won't hold their shape when they're this soft. And that's really it, other than putting them in the fridge and then eating them later. Well, they've been in the fridge just to get some bit of, what's the word I'm thinking of?
Harden.
They're a bit soft before, so they're hardened up now. So what do they look like?
Balls.
Let's have a look. There you go. So they look like chocolate balls. Now you got to remember, the only amount of chocolate I've put in here is that dark chocolate that came in with the muesli. So there's no extra sugar or anything else in here. So let's just try one, shall we? Because that's the most important thing, is the taste. It's really tasty. It's a bit crunchy, and I think that's pretty much from the seeds. You can really taste the nuts that we put in, the cashew nuts. It leaves a little creaminess as well. And in fact, you can taste the coconut. But you know what you can't taste are the dates. And so those that don't like dates, don't tell it it's in there. Anyway, I hope you make them and enjoy them. Bye for now.
Hi there, and welcome to another session of One Way Gatherings. Julie was kind enough to invite me back to just share a few words with you. And so I sat down and have a bit of a think about what I should say. Most of us, or should I say all of us, are going through this COVID virus lockdown, etc. But it gives us the time to sort of like take an inventory, take a stock take, and have a think about our lives and where we're going after this and what happened before all this happened. You know, we really took things for granted, you know, the life in which we had. You know, we can go out any time, go to restaurants, etc., sporting events, football, which is starting tonight. But, you know, we just took things for granted. Now we're going through what we're going through. You know, lives changed. You hear the word thrown around, it's like the new normal. Well, I don't really call it normal, but that's what they're throwing around. So what am I going to say today? And that's a good question. I'm glad you asked me that. And that is, life is too short. A lot of us have heard that statement on many occasions. Probably all of us have said that once or twice in our life. And it is true that life is too short. So I want to sort of like target that. Life is too short. In our lockdown, obviously we've been taking, you know, an inventory, as I used that word before, and thinking about our lives and where we're going and what we want to do and etc. So I wrote down something, so you have to excuse me because I'm about to read it. The old memory doesn't work too good these days. So I just want to read this to you and we'll go from there. Your life on this earth is short, but your life in Christ is eternal. God designed it this way to improve both heaven and earth. God didn't want people to give up, give in, accept defeat, live with reject, and waste time pursuing things that have no eternal value. So life is short. That's just something I wrote, and I think there's a bit there for everybody. Another thing I do, I tell people, I said, you know what you should do once a year? Is go to a graveyard and just sit there and have a good look around. Sounds very morbid, I know, but it's a good place to think, because in that graveyard there are people who obviously passed away and now they obviously reside in that place, and one day that we will be there ourselves. It's a terrible thought, but it's the truth. And what people do when a person dies, a lot of people share things. They call it the eulogy. And in that eulogy, they never say things like, Andrew had a beautiful Ferrari, Andrew had a big house, lovely swimming pool, an incredible yacht. They don't talk about the things I have. They talk about the person, the things that I've said, achieved, and accomplished. That's what they remember you most, and they're eternal, those thoughts. And so it really takes stock where we're heading. So now we're going through this virus situation. We're coming at the end. What are we going to do? What is our goals? What is our inspiration? What are our desires? What do you want to be known about? Do you want to be known as the person who had a big red Ferrari, or someone who did some incredible exploits to help humanity, their neighbor, family, or a friend? Because I think that's far greater than a Ferrari, even though I'd like one. But anyway, I think that's far better and it's eternal. So I want to encourage you that as we go through what we're going through and coming to the end, take stock, make a goal, have a dream and an ambition. And never use the excuse, well, I'm too old, I can't do it. You can. It doesn't matter how little it is, how grand it is, how small it is. It'll still be something that you can achieve. I read a book by the name of from Dr. Phil Pringle, and it's titled Faith. And in this book, Dr. Phil says there's two families, two married couples. And when they retire, it's a well-known fact, and scientists have proved this. There's a what they call the what-if stage. So the one that retire, they sit back on the porch looking out in their pastoral land, and they're talking to one another, and one says to the other and said, do you remember we tried this and it didn't work? And do you remember then we tried that and that worked, and we experienced this and we experienced that? They start talking about the things that they've tried to achieve in their lives together. And they find themselves satisfied because they had goals and they had a go. Then there's the other family who didn't even bother, just leave their life as it goes on with no goals, no aspirations, no desires, just nothing. And what they've found, that the people who get to retirement have not had a go in their life to try to achieve something, actually died at a reasonably young age in their retirement, which is very sad. So my exhortation to you and my encouragement to you, life is short, but we can extend it. How do we do that? Let's get some goals together. Write some goals of things that you want to achieve, so that when you get to your retirement, at the end of your life, whenever that may be, you can sit back and say, do you know, I had a go at this and it worked. And I'm so thankful because it touched a lot of lives, etc., etc., etc. I think you know what I'm getting at. Psalms 57 verse 2 says, I cry out to God Most High, to God who fulfills his purpose for me. This is the key in understanding God's purpose for your life. And straight away, you probably think to yourself, well, I wouldn't have a clue what my purpose is for my life that God's given me. Do you know, that doesn't matter. What matters is that you get up and you have a go. And you'll find that God will step in and bless it. And you'll find that, wow, look what I've been able to achieve. Incredible exploits for God, for myself and everybody around me. So as we come out of this virus situation, lockdown, whatever you want to call it, before we do, write down some goals and know that life is short, but you can extend it. Be the person sitting on the porch, looking out your pasture, your backyard, whatever it may be, saying, look what we've done. We've been able to achieve something great. That's my encouragement to you. That's my exhortation to you. And what I'm saying, I'm applying it to myself, because I want to be that person at the end of my life saying, look what I've done and look what I've achieved. Thank you, Julie, for the opportunity of sharing again. I'm sure I'll get another opportunity another day to share some thoughts. But whoever you are and whatever you're doing, be blessed, be encouraged, and have a great day. God bless. Bye-bye.
Let's continue to worship, church. Lift our voices. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Come on, I love your voice. I love your voice. Oh Lord, you have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. Oh, I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. Have lived in the goodness of God all my life. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. 'Cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Come on, we declare. Oh, your goodness is running after, it's running after me every day. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Come on, we're going to sing it one more time. Lift your voice and sing. All my life, 'cause all my life you have been faithful, my Father. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God. Thank you, Lord. You're so good.
It's been great to have the musicians from Seaton join us again, and we thank them for their willingness to share their resources with us. If anybody would like prayer for anything, anything that was touched on in the message, just let us know. You can click on the prayer request link if you're watching live. Otherwise, you can contact us via the website and put your request in that way. We do hope that you have a great weekend. Join us next time. Thank you. See ya.